Yo, this is Deontay the Bronx Bomber Wild, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CJ Goodfellow, Sports TV. Bomb Squad, baby.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfellow1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfellow sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, let's talk about the Premier Boxing Champions, Fox. Schedule they dropped yesterday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate everybody for checking in. And it was terrible. Trash, garbage. All those could be understatements. I was expecting a lot more. And the schedule was supposed to come out a few times, and it didn't. And I'm thinking they couldn't come to an agreement or close the deal with a few fighters since the money's been funny. Showtime schedule was better than this, but you never know because some of these fights could be canceled because of the COVID. But in addition, I just think they couldn't close the deal with a few fighters, and the money was a little bit funny. And I think that Al was facing the same scenario that Bob was. Guys wasn't trying to make big fights or good fights for short money. They weren't even trying to make good and big fights for good money. Remember that. A lot of these dudes was making, pay-per-view type money with the guarantee, fighting regular trash cans, tune-ups, and contender fights. But this is the schedule. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Formella. WBC welterweight title eliminator Erislandy Lara versus Greg Finindi. WBA super welterweight title. He holds the regular belt. Lara Ugas is taking on Abel Ramos in the regular WBA welterweight title fight. That's for the vacant WBA regular title. And then you got to be announced. All right, on Fox. So I'm guessing that kind of could be a combination of you got Keith Thurman left out there. I'm not sure who else you got. Andy Ruiz still left out there. So that could be a combination of those guys, sucking up those dates. But and then you got the pay-per-view with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia for the real WBA title at welterweight and IBF title. And it was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Fox made some cuts. They cut WWE backstage. They cut, PBC, inside PBC with Fox. So it tells that they don't have a bag. Showtime had a bigger bag. CBS, Showtime, Viacom, whatever you want to call them, have more of a bag for boxing. They put on more significant fights. They got Qdoba taking on Lipinets for the IBF interim title. They got either Goucher and Erickson Lubin is better than every fight on here that's on the regular Fox card so far. So, they got the juice. So Fox is looking like real ESPN-ish right now. They're not going to get no fans to buy into boxing at this point. And, at the end of the day, Al Heyman just couldn't close the deal. These spoiled brats want a ton of money. This is what happens when you spoil these dudes with money they haven't earned or they don't deserve to this point of their career. But I can't tell you that I'm looking forward to any one of these fights. Okay? But, hey, the undercard, I doubt if the undercard is significant. I know that Sebastian Fondora is supposed to be taking on Nathaniel Gallimore, okay? One of these fight dates or something like that. My whole thing about that was that they was actually talking about him fighting Tony Harrison. So I don't know exactly what happened with that fight and why I fell through, but I can't imagine that the undercards are going to be any better than these main events. You got these dudes fighting legit, The only fight that's can be competitive on here that should is Abel Ramos and Ugas. That should be semi-competitive as far as the regular Fox dates. So they got a whole bunch of FS1 dates as well and Fox Deportes dates. But, I was just expecting a lot more from them. So I don't know if, they going to do Mikey and Manny on pay-per-view on Fox. Or they still going to do Ruiz or Keith Thurman going to find him a Fox date to tune up against. But once again, we got to remember, a lot of these dates, boxing going to be going against football and basketball and baseball. So the ratings are going to be real, real bad. I'll tell you that right now. A lot of these ratings are going to be terrible. I'm not sure what it did last night. Last night was an okay main event. But, at the end of the day, they should just do all this shit on FS1. Real talk. All these fights should have went on FS1. If Fox not going to spend no money to bring formidable boxing on their network, they should have just sent this shit on FS1 because every fight on here is terrible. Ugas and Ramos is probably the best fight. I'm talking about the regular Fox cards. And Then they ask you to pay $75 for Danny Garcia and Earl Spence, and that's not even a pay-per-view fight. That should be a regular Fox fight. But I guess the money was funny at PBC, or they just couldn't get a lot of fighters to get in there and fight. Who would have thought that the tables would turn that quick, that a pandemic would turn the tables, and that Showtime would have the best hand. Showtime got the most significant fights. They got 2 pay-per-views. Now, Fox can bounce back with a second pay-per-view with Pacquiao and Mikey or whatever Pacquiao going to do. But, I heard they still talking. And Mikey said that financially the fight probably can't get done without fans. So, if they don't fight, I don't think none of us losing sleep. I think nobody asked for that fight at all. But, they just dropped the ball on this one. This should have been some shit they just leaked through the media or just gave out on social media. This didn't even deserve a Delorme Jamal James platform to be released on. There's nothing you could be happy about on this fight card. Now, can those last 2 fight days say today? Possibly so. But right now everybody's scheduled trash. Except for Showtime. Showtime got the best schedule going right now. I mean, Lubin, Goucher. This weekend you got Benavidez taking on Alexis Romero. You got, the Tank, you got the Charlos. You got a few good fights out there. You know what I'm saying? Colbert. But this right here is man, I think a lot of people, even the PBC fanboys, could say they was disappointed. But I did think they was really trying to work to make some really good fights on Fox. I just think a lot of fighters didn't want to chance it coming back, or it wasn't enough money for them to chance it to come back. So, this is going to set boxing back just as ESPN did. For sure. ESPN set boxing back years, with that summer shit they put on. That whole card was terrible. They shouldn't even have televised that. That should have been on ESPN Plus. But like I said before, there ain't one fight on here I'm looking forward to. Only reason, I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view fight is because to see how Earl Spence come out. That's the only intrigue. If Earl Spence is healthy, man, he should have his way with Danny Garcia. It shouldn't be nowhere near as hard as a Sean Porter fight. Because Sean Porter had athleticism. You know what I'm saying? And Sean Porter also fighting the IBO champion, Sebastian Formella. Laura's fighting, somebody, man. Like, why would they even put in Lara contract? He had to be the main event. Lara fights be so damn boring unless he fighting a pressure fighter. So hopefully this Greg Finenti guy is a pressure fighter, but I don't want to see Lara as no damn main event. They should have put his ass on Fox. On Showtime. And then you got Ugas versus Ramos. My problem with that, Ramos wasn't even ranked inside the top 15 to fight for the regular title. So I don't know what Al was thinking, but hopefully when the COVID over with, we can get back to at least what we was getting. What we was getting, we was complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? But it was better than this stuff. But, with Fox, you just never really fucking know, to be honest. With PBC, you don't really know. With Showtime, you really don't know. But it just seemed that, Viacom, pulled out the bag for Showtime. And Fox, basically was playing cheap with their bag. I wonder what the ratings look like for last night with Jamal James. I know Saturdays for Showtime, they average 150,000 viewerships. That's terrible, but wasn't no big names on there at all. But, Jamal James, Delorme, they had a good fight last night, but this schedule leaves a lot to be desired. You know what I'm saying? That just show you that they was working with a limited bag. Very limited. And don't forget, all these are tentative dates. Because anybody can come up with the COVID and these fights can be off. But you know what? The COVID never cancel fights, or fights never get canceled that we don't want to see. Real talk. They never do. Like these fights, everybody going to test negative and won't be no false positive. And these fights going to get cracking. The fights you want to see, like Linares and Fortuna, they going to get canceled. Fulton and Leo, those going to get canceled. But, I don't know what Al was thinking when he put this deal together. Or what Fox was thinking. They could have kept their money in their pocket. Al could have streamed this off his phone and put it up to Periscope or some shit, or streamed it to YouTube. They could have kept this trash schedule. This wasn't nothing to announce. This wasn't nothing to get a drum roll. This wasn't nothing to get a standing ovation. Terrible, garbage. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. ESPN put on a terrible lineup as well too this summer. So, hopefully get back to regular business. We get a cure, a vaccine, and Boston get back to what it used to be. But let me know what you guys think about the schedule. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business, question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. All my social media links in the description. Twitter is the best way to reach out. Then IG and Facebook. Want to make a donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description and PayPal link. Appreciate the love, support. Check out our boxing news playlist for more videos like this. Love to hear your opinion on the list. We gone.